What's this? There's already a 6 feet of chat here. What's happening? Summertime again. So, God. Morning, gang. Is there an owl hidden somewhere in here? You'll have to ask John Amos. You thought Dave didn't do Mondays. It's Monday for me. I do Mondays. I don't do Tuesdays for me. I won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is my day off. Day off. Day off streaming, So, what's going on over here this morning? shouldn't Cameron be carving these chibis? They're paying for them. Yeah. I don't know how to count that thing about it. He says Patreon paying for Cameron anymore. I don't know. If Patreon money goes into a general fund here, it's way more now than what we're paying Cameron. Not way more, but somewhat more than we're paying Cameron. So how we actually use the money, I'd meant to talk about that to the Patreons. I've been waiting for a shipment of the mulberry fiber to arrive, so that I can talk to the Patreon people and explain that their money is, financing different kinds of future projects, rather than just Cameron anymore. Yesterday's print party was a very good one. It was very fun. I know it was a family group, a couple and 2 kids, so they didn't specifically want to have it broadcast, so that wasn't a question. But it was a really fun party, very common. People on vacation here in Japan, they've booked one of these parties. We had a really, really good time. People who don't know much about us on the net, if they haven't seen YouTube videos and stuff, they've just found our print parties through a travel company or something like that. I think these people had seen it through TripAdvisor. They didn't know really who we were. They had never seen YouTube. They didn't know about the heroes, stuff like that. So all they know is that they booked something on the internet, some activity in Japan. They didn't really realize that it was being run by a foreigner. So when they get here, they're a bit, what's going on. But that's fun, introduce these people to, not just to the idea of woodblock printmaking, but to who we are and what we're doing and stuff. We had a blast, really good time. One of the kids had a Nintendo t-shirt, so, we could fly from there. He'd never heard about us, so. At the end of it, once we're over, I was chatting with them about the fact that, I was supposed to be streaming and things like that, and they said, it would have been okay. Because they didn't know, once it was over, they agreed to it, but it was too late then. So. There's so many parties now booked for the next few weeks. The schedule at this end is just red, day after day after day. The reservations, we have them marked in red type, and they're just day after day after day. We've got a few more early ones booked over the next couple of weeks, so the stream is going to be interrupted a few times for the same kind of thing. Once our normal daily schedule of print parties is sold out, people write to us and ask us, is there some alternate time I can, come in? And we tell them, 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 8:30 in the morning. And, so we've booked a few more. We're halfway done here. This is easy stuff, you know. Nice fat lines, clean lines. John did a really good job here. Where am I? How did the print parties come about? Yeah, there is sort of a story. Just a sec. Is this a woodblock carving of a woodblock carving? Yes. How did print parties come about? It was, it goes back, I don't know, 30 years. It goes back 30 years. I'd moved to Japan in 1986, and the community we were in, a really, really nice community, a place called Hamaramachi. It's one of the outskirts of Tokyo. It's about 2 hours or so out by train on the west side. We were just living in a nice community, and we tried as much as possible to participate in community events, you know, local festivals and things like that, everything we could. And at the local community center, there was a printmaking club. It was, you know, retired people for the most part, making woodblock prints. I was just eager to see anybody or meet anybody, anything to do with woodblock printmaking. At that time, I wasn't selling them. I was just still struggling to learn how to do it. So it was interesting for me to visit the club now and then and see what they were doing. You know. These were housewives and retired people. And they had a request from the city office for one of the local culture days. There's a culture festival in Japan once a year. What's the date? It's in November or somewhere, October, November. It's called Bunka no Hi, Culture Day. And anything like a community center or libraries or whatever put on events or blah, 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 you know. And the community center had asked the printmaking club to do some kind of event for kids, you know. Can you show them how woodblock printmaking works or something as part of Culture Day? And I guess this had been a regular request to them. It sort of happens all the time. And these people were not so interested in doing that. They weren't in the printmaking club for the purpose of, you know, promotion or proselytizing anything. They were just simply, you know, Sunday printmakers. So they didn't want to do it, but I stuck my hand up and said, yeah, whatever, I'd like to try. I could do something for kids, you know, whatever. This would have been 1987 or 1988 or somewhere around there. So I did. I got a small piece of plywood, cut 4 blocks for a really simple, childish character design. Got some brushes and pigments ready and stuff like that, and took it down to the culture festival. They gave me a table. And it was actually sort of a total disaster. It was good fun, but it was a disaster because I wasn't prepared and didn't understand how this would work with a bunch of kids. I had taken 4 blocks, 4 brushes, 4 pigments and stuff, put them in a row. The idea being that kids could, you know, come along and start with the first block and do the next block and do the next block and make a print. And I say it was a disaster. I mean, we had good fun. Kids just played around with a piece of wood and rubbing the tool and blah, blah, blah. But the results were totally disastrous. Nobody got an attractive print out of it. It was just sort of, let's play with colors and stuff. And the reason was because of my inexperience, I had produced a set of blocks that to a certainly experienced person could make prints. You know, when you're rubbing pigment on, you can see what's going on. You just rub pigment on. There's a carved place here and a carved place here. You rub your pigment on it. But once you put your paper on to try and rub it, now you can't see anything. And if you know where you are, you know that there's pigment under here and under here. You rub in those 2 places. After a bit of experience, you know what you're doing. For the little kid at the beginning, he just slaps his pigment on, puts the paper down. Now he doesn't know what to do. So they go bang, 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 bang on the back of the paper. And I hadn't thought about this, so rubbing A and rubbing B, put the paper on the rub in the back, and there gets to be pigment smashed all over the place because nobody rubs carefully. Of course, you can't expect them to. They didn't know what was going on. So this was my fault for bad preparation. So, no problem. We did it. Everybody went home, had a good time, blah, blah, blah. But no good prints. Next year comes around. This is happening every autumn. Next year comes around, and I'm like, okay, I'll do this again. We go back to the community center. And this time around, I prepared a set of blocks that was different. It was a set of blocks. It was still a childish children's image. But I had prepared it so that once you put the paper down, all you got to do is rub in the middle. And I prepared the carved areas so that there were no blank empty spaces where the tool would fall down into empty space. And the prints were much, much nicer. People look, wow, look what I did, look, Mom, and all this sort of stuff. And the moms were trying it and dads were trying it. And it was a really, really good, fun thing. It wasn't like the print parties I have here in Asakusa where this, takes 1 hour, we start to finish, we do it again. This was simply a table with 4 blocks and people lining up at one end. And like maybe even 100 people lined up waiting to do this thing. Somebody starts at one end of the table. I'm behind the table. I yell at them, tell them what to do. Here, grab this brush, rub here, grab a piece of paper, blah, blah. They do color number 1, move down to workstation 2, do color number 2, do color number 3, do color number 4. And it was an insane amount of work all day long. And like I said, hundreds of people lined up waiting to do this. Just a huge assembly line. And what would happen is the people from the community center would see me doing this by myself and they'd come over and help volunteer and somebody would quickly do this and do that. So I got help from the people doing this. And sometimes the people who had made the print would then come and help and jump into the line to help me with the next batch of people coming through and stuff like that. It was good fun, and I did it for 10 years, year after year after year, from about 1988 to about 1998 or somewhere around there. And then I moved out of that town. I bought a house in Ome, and that was the end of that. By the time I was in Ome, there was no point in doing this at the local culture festival. I had no kids anymore. My kids were grown up. So that was the genesis. That was the original idea for the thing. And it then slept unthought of for many, many years until we opened the Asakusa shop, or until we were planning to open the Asakusa shop. And then I was thinking about life and thinking about stuff and thinking about what to do and realizing that in the modern era, people who are traveling are not just so interested in buying stuff anymore, buying souvenirs. They want to have experiences with the different places they go to. So I prepared, as part of this new business we were opening in 2014, I prepared a room where that same thing would happen, the printmaking experience. And interestingly enough, back in the old days doing it at the community center, we didn't use the expression print party. It was just, whatever, come and make a woodblock print with Dave, But talking about the opening of the shop here, we ran a Kickstarter campaign to help finance the opening of the shop. And it wasn't so much, Jed wasn't involved with that because we were doing the Great Wave print. It wasn't an Ukiyo-e Heroes Kickstarter campaign. It was just my own Kickstarter campaign without Jed. But I'm chatting with the guy all the time, what's going on, and he suggested that I use the word print party for this event, the printmaking experience at the back. So that part of it, using the word print party, that was Jed's idea, that was Jed's suggestion. And it really helped. It gives it a bit of a sort of a, what's going on, something special, let's have fun, let's play games, let's have a party. I really appreciate that he did that, that it turned out that way, because I hadn't considered the name of this thing in any way. And now they're famous. We're one of Tokyo's big attractions. Big attractions, not like the Skytree or something, but there it is. We're an actual thing. We're an attraction in Tokyo, listed in guidebooks and on TV and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of cool when you think about like how big this town is. It's whatever it is, 30 million people or something, whatever the number is, however high you count it. Among that 30 million people, or whatever, we are one of the listed attractions. The Lonely Planet Guidebook is whatever X 100 pages long, and how many things are mentioned in it. This whole glorious country of Japan, what they've decided to put in. And bingo, we're in there. Come to Japan, meet Dave Bull, do a print party. It's a bit surreal, actually. I should mention one more part about it, too. In all of our promotion materials for this, in all of our explanatory material, in the Lonely Planet Guidebook, in everything, we never say, come to Mokuhankan and do a print party with Dave. I can't promise to do it myself for everybody. Of course I can't. I can't do 10 print parties a day, So our young staff does most of them. Kawai-san, Teiko-san, Nakamura-san's really good at this. So we don't advertise these as a personal event with Dave. I do many of them, absolutely. But there's no way we can promise to everybody that they're going to come and do a party with me. It's not possible. So we never mentioned my name in any of the explanatory material for this. See the chat here, you know. Can't do both things, carve and read at the same time, so. Jed doesn't get a royalty for the parties, but there is a young lady who is, Kaori-san, young Seki Kaori, the girl who's done the images for us. She did the image of the young boy, the Momotaro Peach Boy one. She did the simplification for me of the Hokusai Great Wave design that we're going to use in the print party room this spring. She gets a royalty. She gets 5% of all print party revenues because she's done the job about designing the image that we use there. So she gets a designer's royalty. And if the blocks had been carved by somebody else, they would be getting that too, but I carved the blocks, so there's no block royalty on that one. So. Well, a question, an official question into the question box. Get it before I forget. Twitch questions. Yes, there's a new question in the box. Someone's asking about subscription, blah, blah, blah. Is it possible to pay for a subscription series in advance? Yeah, people do that. I know. People do that. I know. I'll pop your email to Cameron. He's in later. He handles all that stuff now from these days. So I'll make sure Cameron sees that. And he'll answer you privately. Thank you. It's nice to have a bit of pressure going here. I got the YouTube video up the other night, finally at last. My God, that was late, that one. I can even feel the difference now. Because I put up a YouTube video recently, there's sort of a pressure that's disappeared. It's going to come back, of course, over the next few days, next couple of weeks, the pressure builds again. Dave, you got to do YouTube, got to do YouTube. But right now, because there's one up after just 2 days, the pressure is not there, you know. It's crazy. I got it up there about 2 o'clock in the morning, finally, 2 nights ago, and then went to bed. Something else funny about this last video. I don't know how many of you who are watching here have seen the latest video, the YouTube I put up a couple of days ago, but I made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. I was just fooling around, but it seems to have been taken a bit more seriously. At the beginning of it, I said something like, this is the last time we'll be doing videos here, or something like this. I hadn't intended to make it all that dramatic and anything, but people, I guess I phrased it a bit of a funny way. And when I said this is the last time I'll be making video, so in the comments there's all these people like, oh my God, I thought you were sick, I thought you were dying, please don't die, and stuff like this, you know. Wow. Be careful, my mother sees these, so maybe she'll collapse. Well, it's good fun. I know it's heartwarming to feel that people care enough, you know. But one of the comments was interesting. In the middle of the comment stream to that video, somebody says, you know, I hope David dies at 150 years old, you know. And I'm reading this, I hope David dies, and you know, where is this comment going, you know? So, we read about that story. It's true or not, I don't have any idea. It's apocryphal maybe. The story about Hokusai. We've got various phrases and comments that he's supposed to have left behind, and things that he said, you know. And the truth or legend about him, whatever, you know, the guy lived to be 90 something or whatever. Hugely productive. There's no retirement for him. He just kept going and kept going and kept going, you know. And the story, as I said, it's probably apocryphal, that sort of on his deathbed, he's like screaming and yelling, no, I don't want to go. I got so much more to do. Please leave me alone. You know, I'm just starting to get good at this. This kind of comment, I guess, is what he's known for, you know. And I get that. I can feel that, you know. I'm 66 now. I'm not going anywhere yet. But at some point, you know, I will have to leave, you know. And I can just see, you know, I don't want to go. I don't want to go, you know, just finally when we're having fun doing this, you know. So that comment, that person on the YouTube video says, I hope Dave dies at 150, you know. I get the sentiment, but no, I don't even want to go at 150, I think. We'll see when I get there. And that was another question. People are getting used to this now. Perhaps this will be a bit more of a productive question than the last one. This is an interesting question. It's just a simple one. It says, how do you decide the prices on the prints? It's a really interesting question. How do we decide the prices on the prints? What are these things worth, you know, when we sell a print in the shop? I'm talking about the prints we make, not the flea market stuff. The flea market is easy. It's all bidding. We go to the used auctions, the dealer auctions, we bid on prints, and how much we have to pay is going to eventually determine how much that print will sell for. These are the used prints in the flea market shop. But for the prints we make, how do we decide what they should sell for? We don't do ours from the top down. We don't think that this should sell for whatever it is, X $100 or something like that. We don't decide on the price point first. Our prints are priced bottom up. With any given print series we're making, or with any given print set we're making, I've got big, deep, long and rich spreadsheets here, and I work out exactly, as close as I can, what this thing's cost us to make. And because it's so labor intensive, these things are quite manageable. I mean, they're measurable. I can analyze pretty much what it cost us to make a batch of prints. I know what the paper costs. Jed's royalties are set at a certain rate, and the carvers and printers and things like that. What we never know at the beginning is how many of each one is going to sell. But it doesn't matter. We know by now that over time, all the prints we make do sell. So we amortize things like the carving costs into the price of the print. We pay our carvers based on a royalty per copy rather than a flat fee for making the set of blocks. So we've got a clear cost structure. We can see how much the prints cost us to make, at least as well as I can calculate it, you know. So we do that. We price from the bottom up. We work out in advance of any given series coming into being. We work out what it's going to cost us to make it, and then set the price at a level that will pay our costs and pay X margin for us to run our business. So when you see in the different print series in the recent years, the Yokai series or the Legendary Loot series, which is way down, much cheaper than it was last year, the subscription prints, it's simply a reflection of our production costs plus our general overhead costs, adding it together. Where am I here? Come up here. What's next? And the unknown thing there, of course, is they still then have to go in the market. Are people going to buy these? And as it's turned out, we've managed to keep our costs, our production costs, at a reasonable enough level that at the end of the day, when we've done this thing, when we've made these prints, based on those costs and that profit we put on top, they go into the market, and it has turned out that many people, enough people, do actually want these products. They actually exchange money. They put the order in, they pay money, and we send the print. So it seems that in that sense we've done something right, in that we've created a product or a series of products, things, objects, whatever you call them, that are interesting to people, that have value to people, and the value that people are perceiving them to have is within the range of the price that we put on them. If we'd priced them at $1,000 each for the loot prints, no one's going to buy them, because the two things have to match up. And so far, so good. We've been very efficient, I think, at making these things, and we've been able to produce them at a price that many people are willing to pay. And any manufacturer, anybody making products has to make that same thing happen. You've got to make those two things line up. What it costs you to make it, and what people are willing to pay for it. And there's a twist on that in our case, in that when you're making cars or a can of soup or whatever, if you're making a product that many other companies are also making, then it's sort of a little bit of a different factor, because you really have to be good at it. Because if you're not good at it, if your costs are high, then other people are going to eat your lunch, because the same product will be out there made by other people at a different price point, and you're going to be dead in the water. Now we're a bit different in that we have no competition. There are other things like wood-bought prints in the market, there's other pictures in the market, whatever. In that sense we do. But the specific product we make is totally and absolutely unique. So what's it worth? How do you measure the value? You measure the value of a car because different companies make them at different varying levels of efficiency and different levels of attractive design and things. And the market sorts out the value. The market sets the prices. But when you're totally unique and nobody else has such a thing, then the market doesn't set the prices. Well, my carving has this hand, right? I've got to be careful which way the cutting lines go here. Yeah, you're talking about the thing that we're selling is not just a piece of paper too, obviously. It's a much more complicated thing than this. If it was a generic product, there would be not so much emotion involved in it. But this is not a generic product. So the thing we're, quote, selling, unquote, is not just a a piece of paper. We're sort of selling part of our experience. Many of the people, maybe the people watching this today, whatever, if you've got some of our prints, they're not just a piece of paper that you've bought. You have become part of the thing we're doing. You're sharing our experience. And the piece of paper you're holding is a sort of a place marker for the experience that you're feeling. You've watched a YouTube video and felt an emotional contact with the person speaking, and the print you end up owning maybe is a link to that. So it's not just a dead, cold piece of paper. So again, that's what I'm saying. Ours is a bit of a special case. So. Anyway, long story short, we priced them basically based on our costs. Whether that's a mistake or not, I don't know, but that's how we do it. You can look at me sort of in two ways. I'm clearly not the world's most sharpest businessman here. I'm really not good at the business part of this when you compare with, what else is out there in the world. But when you look at the fact that we're still here, after 30 years, I'm still here in Japan making a living as a printmaker, then maybe I'm not that bad at it. The business end of it, I don't know. You can argue it both ways. I had that conversation sometime, whatever, a year ago, years ago, something in the shop with somebody, I was thinking that I'm okay, I'm basically okay at business because here I am, I'm still surviving. How many people can make a living as a woodblock printmaker? Not very many. And he had the different viewpoint. He said, no, you're looking on the bright side, but there's also another factor, you're so bad at business. He said, you should have a Mercedes parked out front and blah, 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 blah. Someone at your level of competence, your level of fame, you're the best on the planet at doing this, blah, blah, blah. So how come you're riding a bicycle? Whatever. It just depends on what you consider to be important, Having a Mercedes in the parking lot is something I'm not looking forward to. So, not something I'm looking forward to. I mean, how you value everything. If I'm so smart, how come I'm not rich? Because the video got done a couple of days ago, that meant my evening was free. And last night I was downstairs working on the construction a bit, So. I'm still struggling to get my toilet room and bathroom finished. That's what you get when you can only do a few minutes at a time, A construction job that anybody would look at for a day's work or something takes weeks, That's there's no way around that. So what I did last night, it was funny, something I've been postponing for a while. I cracked open the box that has the toilet inside and all the parts. It came shipped in three boxes, yeah. The toilet, the sitting unit itself, the seat, and the wash. We bought a hand washing unit that goes on the top of it. And last night's job, I had to connect the two. I had to connect the main toilet sitting unit, and I had to connect it all together with the washing unit, where the water pipes up and you wash your hands over the top of the toilet, and the water goes down into the bowl and stuff like that. And they used to be so simple. It's like a 12-page instructions just to get this done. And I remember back to when I was a kid making models or something. You get this table, you lay out all the little plastic parts, and then you start with the instructions and step A, step 2, and 5 pages later, and the arrows go back and forth, and then there's a little arrow on page 4 that says choose option A or B here, then skip to page 12 if you're doing option A, and skip to page 18 if you're doing option B. And this is all in Japanese, and it's all full of small parts, and I couldn't find one of the screws. And I had a ton of fun. And I'm thinking, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But I got it. I got it together. Next step will be I've got to actually mount the base thing in the floor of the toilet. The drain part has to be screwed down. I got stuck last night because the toilet instructions are assuming that this is going to be in a wooden framed house and that it goes onto a wooden floor. And the screws and everything they included were all wood screws. But the toilet pan, the floor of the room where we're installing the toilet here, is concrete. So I didn't have any of the proper screws. I didn't have anchor bolts and stuff, so I've got to head to the hardware store sometime. I guess when we close tonight, I'll probably get out there to the hardware store and try and get some anchor bolts. It's interesting, the assumption that Japanese houses have a wooden floor. Not too thin. Come on, Dave, be careful. Who's this then? 8:44. It could be Suga-san or Cameron, couldn't it? But we don't know who it's going to be. Pretty quiet door closing, which means probably Suga-san. I'm not sure. Let's see. Heavy shoes. I think it's Cameron. Yeah, I got it right. I'm trying to, is it Suga-san or Cameron? What are the audio clues that are going to tell me who it is? Both of you guys are pretty quiet people, so Kawai-san bang bang bangs his way in, but you guys, you both got those squeaky shoes, which didn't squeak today. So
no rain. Beautiful day today. Wow.
Ah, spring is here, right?
Spring has arrived.
Have you seen the cherry trees down on the Sumida there?
No, not yet.
Oh, I should get a chance. Also, before I forget, the garden. Do you know about this?
Yeah, you said they're open for their brief period of the year, right?
Yes. So it's a chance. So whatever, grab your lunch. You can't sit there and go along and eat lunch, but
right. I was actually thinking of
going
on a walk through during this.
Yeah. I mean, don't try and sit in the lawn and eat your lunch.
No, I don't think that would be.
They'll move you along.
Okay, if I join you this morning.
Sure. Grab in. I haven't had a chance to see too much.
The new design.
John sent the new designs.
Excellent.
We're trying to rotate this. It's wired in at the back here, so.
Right. I'm sure I'll find some way to disturb the stream.
Whatever, here we go. Oh, we're okay. It's the.
What is that?
It's the Zoom audio recorder. I've been doing the audio, the last YouTube video. The camera is there behind the teleprompter, but I do the audio separately into the digital audio recorder.
Got it.
Did we make it without crashing? Maybe.
Like it. Are we still here? I think we're still good. Good. Were you talking about bathroom floors and wood and stuff?
Oh, so I did last night. I tried to install the toilet last night, and it got it all ready. I installed the water tank part on the back and got it ready to move in. And all the screws that are included in the package are wood screws, because it's assumed that you screw it down to a wooden floor. And we have a concrete base there, so I didn't have any of the plugs and stuff to put it into concrete. That's my excuse anyway, so I didn't get finished last night, so I'm sticking to it. That's my story.
That's unfortunate, but it sounds like you're on the last step.
We're on the last stage, yes. So.
That's good.
There's also some good pictures down there. Get down there today, get some good pictures. Ayama-san has put the framework in for the roof, for the new print party room, the arched roof. So,
that'll be nice. People said wooden floors in a bathroom. It sounds like a disaster waiting to happen with water damage and stuff.
Well, a wooden frame house, whatever. Yeah. You know, Canadian houses are made of wood, whatever, of course. You know. We're not talking about the finished surface. You might put a tile or something down, but we're talking about the construction of the building. It's a wooden building. You know. Maybe there's a confusion about what I said. You know.
The Mur is asking, what is Dave carving? That's not the Great Wave.
No, is it visible? Yeah, I did. I mentioned it. It's open. It's not secret. This is the block set for the next two Patreon chibis. This one is due this spring, and this one is due. No, which one's which? That one's the spring one, and this one is the next winter one. So, the 2018 chibi pair, designed for us by John Amos, a printmaking professor at one of the universities in Georgia.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing this today instead of the Great Wave is that the deadlines are all, this is the one that has a deadline. The Great Wave doesn't have a deadline. It's just got to be finished when it's finished.
Yeah.
But this one has a deadline. I've got to get this. It's got to be sent to people. The first one in May or June. May, maybe, I guess.
I think May. Most recent question. Maybe you've already looked at it and read. It says, I think you have something that I've seen other craftsmen exhibit, which is a sense of moral economy, that there are social obligations which are also factored in, say, the relations you have to workers, the other craftsmen you source from. And I guess that wasn't a question.
So no, we were talking about the price. Somebody had asked about how do you set the prices for the print. So the conversation has come out of that thing, the original idea that we set the price basically on what it costs us to make the things. That's the number one. But then also when people value the thing themselves, they're not just buying a piece of paper, they're buying part of the experience that we're having here.
Yeah.
So they're paying a bit to help Dave do this and to help me, all those things are factored into the price. So.
Okay.
So this comes from that stream. And did you see the comments on the YouTube video? We put a new, I guess maybe you haven't seen the video, I don't know.
I saw that you had posted it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Comments. There's some nice comments. Well, they're usually always nice comments, but I had, at the beginning of the thing, I had made a comment of introducing the video that this is the last time I'll be here doing this video for you. I hadn't really thought too much about it, but what I meant was because we're moving. But people thought this is the last time, and they're in the comments, oh my God, do you have a terminal disease and stuff like this, and it's going on.
No.
It's okay, because at the end I explained it. I had explained that, it is because we're moving downstairs.
Yeah, so it'll be the last time in that
time, and but there were people who saw that at first and semi-panicked and whatever.
Oh no. What's wrong?
So it's nice to know people worried about me. It's fine. So,
people care.
But I hope my mother has died of a heart attack on the living room floor because she watched that video. I don't know. So.
Not.
Where's next? Let's get this mallet. Need a bit of oil here. Look at this. This be interesting. Got a bit of camellia oil here in a little bottle. Put a dab on my finger, and here the design. It should come. So because the paper gets transparent from the oil, I can't do this in advance for the whole thing because it starts to soak in and the paper comes off. It weakens the glue. But I do it zone by zone what I'm about to carve. So. I didn't zoom in today, I guess. I'm sorry. Nobody, maybe they did ask me to zoom and I didn't remember to do it. I don't know.
That's really nice.
Are we there?
do you have to be a patron to get the prints? It's
The chibi thing is, you're in for you pay each month, whatever it is, you're for your $5 a month, and after you've been in for 3, you start to receive these. But we don't do one every 3 months. There's 2 chibis each year, so you'll get one every 6 months, one of these 2. But it doesn't start till you've been there for 3 months.
So you get one after 3, and then after 9. And then
Yeah, that's the way it would work. Exactly. After 3, after 9, and then 6 months later. So.
Yeah.
And we thought about doing it every 3 months, but then what we're really doing is just selling prints. And the point of the patrons, we need the money for other purposes.
Yeah.
Not, so Kickstarter is different. Kickstarter is just purchase of prints. But Patreon, the idea was to give us money to use for other purposes. And we will, also send you some stuff. So yes, it starts after 3 and then goes every 6.
So now I predicted that you were going to cause worry with your comment on the YouTube video, so someone's not surprised that happened.
Well, I think I did tease a bit. I forget how I exactly phrased it, but I wasn't intending to scare anybody. It was just going to be
We got some new person asking about an FAQ, but it looks like they're already helping people out, so thank you. Someone asks, is this a woodblock carving of a woodblock carving?
Yes,
it is.
so it's meta. So it's not as good as the last one. Remember, the last one was a woodblock printing of a woodblock print being made that had a woodblock print inside it that had a woodblock print inside it.
It just kept
we
going on.
We weren't able to do that this time. But yes, there's going to be a bunch in a series. It turns out it's going to be a series.
Yeah.
Last year's pair of Patreons was a natural nature quiet image, and then the image of the person woodblock print being made. This year's is a nature image and carving. So next year, the next pair will have to be clearly a nature image and design work. So John's going to have to meta. He's going to have to
draw himself
drawing.
himself.
Exactly. So I better warn him about this. Get him ready for this.
Does he ever join the Twitch stream here?
I haven't seen him on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's an interesting question. How did print parties come about and start happening? Is there a story behind it?
Yeah, we did. We told the story.
Oh, you already talked
you
about it.
scrolled back. Yes. It took the next 15 minutes to tell. The chat went silent or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that's why it was quiet for a long period then, because they're listening.
It was a kids event at a culture center in Hamra where I was living. So.
Okay. That was the first one.
But the interesting point that I remembered when I was telling that story is I never used to call them print parties. They were just, make your own woodblock print, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There was no specific branding.
Right.
And it was when we were opening the store here, we did the Kickstarter campaign in 2014 for the shop, which Jed wasn't part of. It was my own Kickstarter campaign. Yeah. But he knew what was going on. I'm chatting with him all the time. And he suggested the word print parties. That was Jed's idea, not mine. Jed's idea. So that's why somebody's asking, do we pay him royalties for the idea?
Oh.
He gets enough royalties from us already. He's overpaid. Yeah. Is he still here today? I don't know.
I haven't seen him yet, but
I can't say overpaid, but he gets good royalties from this stuff. So. And he's seeing both sides of it now on his own. Jed is also now publishing prints by other people. They're on his ukiyoheroes.com page.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of prints now by Stephen Winecki, and he's got a process print thing. So Jed is now paying royalties to other people. So he's sitting on both sides of this.
Cameron, do you ever want to pick up carving, printing, even for a hobby?
It's forbidden.
It's forbidden. I'm not at liberty to answer this question. No. And someone asks, "Wait, don't I do that?" Or just a clerk. I've been doing.
What do you mean, just a clerk?
That's what he said. That's what he's asking.
Okay,
but no,
whatever,
I've been doing lots of more behind the scenes stuff with order processing or payroll or subscriptions and trying to help out in the background instead of making prints.
Yeah, it's an indeterminate job at the moment. A great deal of what you're doing clearly is clerical stuff that is sort of below your pay grade, but whatever, it was below my pay grade. And we're just struggling to put this together. And as the business grows, those kind of functions will clearly be turned over to a person who is, quote, clerk, unquote.
Yeah.
That's no problem. And you will then do more, management type functions. So whatever, it's a growing business, and we all have to do things that we don't really think of as a career, but
Start somewhere.
Have you looked at the mailbox? Is there a ton of stuff for you?
There's a ton of stuff.
Is there? The typical weekend thing then? Is it? Yeah, okay. Orders and whatever.
Yeah. An updated version of the new digital sign in Asakusa station that they're putting together on the
Oh, that's still
screen.
ongoing, is it? Okay.
You put together all the images and then asked for the English version, so we'll get that off to him next.
Okay.
Be happy.
There's something I really want to get going on with you this morning. You've got your normal stuff to do, I understand, but there's a little special thing I'd like to do. Tomorrow's Tuesday, we're closed.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the business about trying to rent a car and stand on the roof of the car and
Yes.
stuff like that. It didn't go, it didn't fly.
Yeah.
Over the last few days, me and Kawai-san and me and Nakamura-san have been searching all over the place.
Yeah.
We found a place that rents cars for electioneering, which are designed, the guys stand on top and do the speech in their little Subaru cars.
Yes.
They won't rent to us because we're not politicians. So,
Dang.
but then we hunted, and yesterday Nakamura-san found a dynamite place.
Really?
Something I hadn't explored. These rolling towers, where you're trying to fix the roof of your aircraft hangar.
Yeah.
You stack up, these pieces that stack up without riggers, whatever. We were looking through that website, and I'm like, it's just out of our reach.
Yeah.
And she found one that rents to anybody. It's and you rent it by 1 floor, 1.5, 2, 2.5. You know what you want. They deliver. They will bring it. We tell them that's an option they will set up, or you set up. They give you a YouTube video how to set it up. So this morning, we have to get on this, because I want to do this tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that means booking them today, because they deliver the evening before. So we may already be too late. It may be something we have to book for next week.
Okay.
I sent you the link. You'll see it in your box when you
I'll
get it
check
this
that.
morning. And I'd like to interrupt your work to check that at least this morning first, to see if we can set it up for tomorrow.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Because I'm free, you're free tomorrow. Kawai-san said he's free tomorrow, and the three of us can rip down the front of the building there and put up a new panel. We rent it for 2 days, so it'll be today and tomorrow. So I'd like you to get on that first, Mr. Hilker, and report back to me by 9:30, please.
Okay. I've got 31 minutes. Gotta get out of here.
My guess is it's probably not possible as the last minute. But then again, maybe not, because a lot of those construction projects, I think, do, fixing something that broke or whatever. It's So let's see if we can do it.
Okay.
All the time we spent wasting looking for those stupid cars, So.
I want people to just rent to anybody. Oh, well.
Just so the stream knows what we're talking about here, we have to fix the front of our building. The building, it's a 3-story building, but it's quite stretched. Each story is actually about 3.5 meters high from concrete to concrete. So inside each floor, where we are right now, below the subfloor, there's 60 centimeters of unused space. And above the ceiling, there's another 50 or 60 centimeters of unused space. So you get your normal 2 meters of living space plus another meter of unused space.
Right.
And the problem for us is outside, we have to get up high. It's not just a question of standing on a little stepladder to reach the second floor.
Right.
The second floor is way up there, way up there.
And trying to pull down the sign and lower it, since we're no longer going to be only on the top 2 floors.
So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Our own Baron sign, yes. So, but then we've got to renovate the front of the building. There's some old. It's difficult to describe. We'll show
get rid of the old signage for the previous shop and clean up some of the old materials.
And we have no access, so we need some kind of scaffolding, and that is expensive.
So this has got a facepalm metric. I'm guessing you're in the US.
Metric, whatever, can't help it.
Meters a little bit over 3 feet, yeah.
Yeah, if you think yards, you're not too far off.
about 30 centimeters is almost exactly a foot. I remember that from measuring the snow where I was living before, when they would tell us, oh, we're getting 60 centimeters of snow overnight. Like, what? What is that? Oh, it's 2 more feet. But, okay. Are we trying to rent scaffolding? That was another option we explored briefly.
Yes, well, actually, it's a kind of scaffold. It's a free rolling
scaffold.
I don't know what it's called in English.
Okay. Huh. The 2 companies I talked to got back to me, and it was just outrageous prices. So we'll deliver it to you for around $300 each way, and then the fare, and then insurance in case you fall, and then setup fees if you want us to, but that was another several hundred. It was just wild.
This one it's a consumer-facing website.
Okay.
It's not a construction company-facing website, which I didn't expect to find, but there it was. Nakamura-san turned it up.
Way to go, Nakamura-san. Will there be a Twitch stream of building climbing Dave?
Interesting point. I don't know. I know there's no easy way to set up a camera and do that.
Yeah.
You know, set the camera up across the street or something. I don't think we have the capability to do that.
Yeah.
But and we're going to be kind of busy. But
Yeah.
so I don't want to promise that sort of thing.
Yeah. We looked into a lot of these. People are saying, oh, cherry picker, scissor lift. But those are all rented only to construction companies or electrical companies or things. Is that what you were encountering yesterday too with Nakamura-san?
I didn't go that far.
Oh,
also,
okay.
I don't know, have you seen this? There's a picture I got to show you. Did you see this on Friday? The woman across the street?
Across the street, yeah. Now we're going to be mysterious and they're going to know what we're talking about.
Watch, I've got some pictures here. I don't think you can, for example, the print. Well, this is whatever. Just
nice.
But you can't.
Very nice.
Whatever.
Here you go. Wait, that actually is showing up behind it. I'm surprised. But it's only in the top little corner of it.
Look at it.
There's a picture
No
of
problem.
some of the framework for the new indoor ceiling. Kind of looks like a roof, but it's inside. Oh. It'll be
Well,
fun.
so you've seen the woman across the street, the graffiti thing then?
Yeah.
She put up a security camera.
Oh, she did?
Saturday afternoon, there was a truck parked outside a security company. She's hired them to drill. Bzzz, they're setting up
Wow.
cameras, outside-facing cameras. So she's taking this seriously, or the police have asked that she do that or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea.
I think I remember you saying she's just a nice
Just a
older
little old
woman.
lady. So. It must be
What?
just a drive-by. I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's all about.
Just abseil from the top of the building. No need for scaffolding.
No, that was another sort of option, but the gear to do that was way more expensive. The single harness, and we've looked into this, just not from the top, but from the second floor, to sit outside the second floor balcony to lower yourself down. So you need to think over your 2 legs in a harness, and those were I forget, 19,000 in the home center there.
Wow.
And then all the clips you need and all the hooks to support, it just became ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, for a one-time use.
For one-time use, so. And this thing we found, it seems like it's going to cost us about 20,000 yen.
Okay.
And we'll do it, well, you'll see it take about 2.5 to 3 days, and it'll be a beautiful platform to us to stand up and walk around on.
That's great.
It's not in itself cheap, but it's reachable, it's doable. It's absolutely reachable. So. And it's their business. It's not a question of convincing somebody, I can't do that for you guys. This is their normal
That's
business.
the
You just
deal.
book up and make a reservation. That's what they do.
Great. Maybe we should explain what we're doing. Now they're assuming we're photographing naked women in the hotel across the street. I don't know why. I guess it was an older woman with a shop whose shutters got graffiti.
The picture's there.
Yeah.
Soka. We didn't tell the story. Okay. Just left it hanging there. Sorry about that. Yeah. No, it's just a couple of days ago. Should be there.
Oh, there it is. Here's this nice little shop where they sell. What do they sell?
Bags. It's a bag shop. It says bags. Yeah. That's her name.
Oh yeah. Yep. So they make bags, and then the shutter right on the side got graffitied, and I don't know why they'd be. Could just be a random act, or
so it's extremely rare in Tokyo anyway. Yeah. It's extremely rare in this district. So what's going on? Nobody can figure this out. It's just unheard of to be around here.
Very, very unusual.
Just when we ourselves are getting ready to paint something on our own shutter. We'd never been worried about graffiti. It doesn't matter. Don't forget, it's not a factor, And yet, whoops! All of a sudden,
across the street,
it's a factor. Yeah. You're getting a sample, right? This is a sample on the way from, was it someplace in Canada? They're mailing you a sample?
Yep. They're going to get us a sample.
What, FedEx or something? Or?
Not sure. I'm sure there's an email that came in over the weekend about it. What kind of things do Japanese vandals write? This one just has ALM, and then it looks like a backward 5. I have no idea. No idea what that might mean.
Oh dear, there's so little of it, I have no sense of what it is. Yeah. Very, very unusual.
Everyone's like, that graffiti was terrible. Not interesting at all. Yep. The hammer up there, the persuader.
So God. At least John made this person left-handed, so.
That's fine.
The reservations are, I don't know if you've seen, they're absolutely pouring in.
Really?
The other day we had a new record, more than 9 reservations in one day.
Oh no.
And we've started to open up, more than 3.
Right.
So, but what I'm doing is I'm not opening the 11:30 session because it just becomes too chaotic. So we open the 4 o'clock session.
Mm-hmm. We'll get one right before the shop closes.
It's no problem there.
Are Paulownia boxes available for the Yokai series?
No, we haven't made one.
Okay. I don't know if you could hear his answer.
It's not that I refuse to do it. I'm saying we haven't set one up because the problem with the yokai prints for putting them in a Paulownia box is that we haven't done the yokai prints mounted on boards. The Hunger Club prints we do and stuff, they're mounted on an actual backing thing,
right.
Which then stands in the display stand of the box.
Right.
So the yokai prints, we didn't do that. We sent them out because there were so many. Yeah. And we wanted to keep the postage so cheap, we didn't put them on backing boards. It would have doubled the postage. Yeah. Yes, the postage would have just been more than the actual prints themselves. So the prints basically go to people bare. It's a bare wood-block print shipped in an envelope.
Yeah.
And we've got the little clear file thing which they can go inside. If somebody else on their own time and their own nickel wants to mount them on boards or something and put them in one of the display stands, then they would fit inside the Hunger Club box because they are the same postcard size print. And it's been on my list of things to do for an option that one day when we get around to it, we've got the Hunger Club boxes there. make a do-it-yourself kit, give them an
Yeah.
instruction PDF on how to cut a backboards, blah, blah, blah. Here they are. They would go inside the box and you've got
Yeah.
your own display stand.
Okay.
It's just something we didn't get around to doing. You know.
Yeah.
But the prints are the same size as our Hunger Club prints.
Yeah.
And if they were mounted on something, then they would mount inside the Hunger Club
Okay.
box. But the way we send them out, they're all just bare. So.
But we do have kind of flip books. What do you call those? Clear
What's that?
files? They look like photo albums, I think.
It's there on the page.
Those
People
are-
order it.
Yeah, so those are
It's on
the
the Yokai page. You know,
So no Paulownia box, but another way to display or to store them.
Well, he probably has one of those already. So yeah, I know the Hunger Club box does fit. They do fit inside it, but just as a loose
Right.
bunch of sheets. They won't
Yeah.
stand in the thing. You know. But yeah, we're almost there. I mean, the fact that the box is there, that it just needs us to make a little instruction sheet for people on how to
Yeah.
put the prints on cards so that they will go in there. You know.
How thick is the cherry you're carving on? Okay.
The cherry part of it is, what is it, 4 millimeters? It's a block that we made. We're making
Oh,
our
you're a
own
little bit
blocks.
out of frame now. There it is. Yeah.
Okay. The cherry is 4 millimeters or so. It's dressed down, and it's what is it? A 15 millimeter
Cool.
birch core. These are blocks we make. Aoyama-san made these upstairs. We're making our own blocks these days. Have been doing that for a couple of years.
And occasionally cutting up old blocks, like the
Yeah, starting to figure out how to do that. So
burn we have.
there's no stable source of supply of those, of course. It's just opportunistic.
Is it something that can be ordered? Not from us at this time.
What are we talking about? The wood block?
Yeah, the wood block.
No. That's a new Patreon.
Oh.
Third one this morning. So
Wow.
somebody somewhere somehow has linked things. I don't know what's happened.
Thanks for the support.
So there must be something that's been linked somewhere, because that's the third person this morning who's
Wow.
joined the Patreon campaign. So
Thank you. If it's someone in here who's telling people about it, thanks. Supporters from the new video, perhaps. That's also a
I didn't. Did I mention? I don't think I mentioned the Patreon. I didn't even link it in the video description. I forgot.
Okay.
Oh. I forgot. I didn't think about it. I try to be. If I mention the Patreon or the Kickstarter stuff too much, I don't want to sound like a salesman, on this stuff. So I don't want to push it. There's times to talk about those things, and then there's times just to put that stuff aside and talk about the woodblock printmaking. So.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm deficient, but I try not to push that stuff too much. I don't want to sit here with my hand out all day long. And that support has been so helpful this last half year. Well, as you know, the original purpose of the Patreon was to put money in the bank to make sure I'd be able to pay you, and that's worked.
Yeah.
The Patreon money goes into general revenue. It doesn't get paid directly to you.
Yeah.
They're not paying your salary.
I'm not attached to the
So-
Patreon.
But the point being that because that revenue is there, that was what allowed me to sign a deal with you saying we will, hire you on. So,
Yeah.
so Patreons in that sense are supporting that. But it's now time to move on and put that money towards other uses, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're earning your keep here clearly, as part of the team that runs the place. So.
So essentially, Cameron has patrons. No.
Well, the original
Exactly.
idea, so. But again, because the Patreon money goes into general revenue, it gave me the security to make you the offer, and it gave you the security to accept the offer, knowing that there was going to be money in the bank to pay it.
Yes.
So in that sense, yes, Patreons brought you here, absolutely.
Yep. That's true. Oh, it's Winnie CSM, probably the man who's been helping Jed out with some new prints. The think. But I said you can buy cherry blocks from McLean's in the States and Woodlike from Japan. Yep, and I think, so do you have links to those too you might be able to share? I think that'll help some people out. Do you know what, does Woodlike, they do ship abroad, but it just costs a lot, right?
Okay.
Someone who's been commenting earlier said, I just realized I've watched your videos on YouTube. It's so great you're on here. So he's been watching this but didn't make the connection between the two. But thanks. Glad to have you.
I get the occasional email from a YouTube person saying they're not so happy about the Twitch thing because they think it's clearly taking me away from YouTube. Because we're Twitching every day.
Yeah.
I haven't been making so many YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't argue about that, but I don't think that's what's happened. The YouTube videos have been a little bit difficult recently because of general life, you know.
Yeah.
Twitch is simply something I do 90 minutes a day sitting down here. It doesn't require a whole lot of other preparation, generally, you know.
Yeah.
Work that I would be doing anyway. Next YouTube video clearly has to be a David's Choice, absolutely, I think.
People love those.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's your choice.
What everybody wants is another Remembering a Carver episode, you know, something
well,
like
you
that.
have one, don't you?
I do, but they can't be just made. That just happened organically, you
Yeah.
know. It wasn't even really planned, you know. I know if I try and plan the next one, I'm just going to fall on my ass. 'Cause you just can't make it happen, you know. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, happy little knitter. No, you don't have to be
To my
active
mother?
all the way from the start to do to get the chibi prints. They're available to anyone after your first 3 months on Patreon.
You know what, the Patreon, you mean?
Yep, yeah.
It happens automatically. So when
Yeah.
everybody signs up 3 months later or in the fourth month,
Right.
you will get the first one, whatever the one is at the time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, people are suggesting ways you can redirect YouTube viewers over to Twitch, but it's a very different type of video, a different experience. The streams versus the YouTube ones, as you've mentioned, you like them to be a little more curated and
Oh,
prepared.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Might be able to. So have you considered making a quick YouTube video pointing them to the stream archives?
Well, I did
or
already.
something
I did
else?
one. I know if you go back, it's about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I did a Twitch highlight reel
Right.
on my YouTube channel, and I had intended to do that sort of every month, but life got in the way. And,
Yeah. And then, of course, you've done the full length and the shortened version of the start to finish woodblock print. So, done a couple of things where they overlap, but
that must be Kawaii-san. Is it going up and down the stairs, putting
yeah,
the flag out?
giving- yeah.
Asakusa was crazy yesterday. You know.
Really?
Sunday, Saturday. It's a beautiful spring. I mean, oh my God.
Gorgeous.
People go to Ueno Park to see the cherries. Let's
Yep.
go for a drink, head for Asakusa. It was
Yeah.
just insane.
Really, shop busy too, or just
No,
the
no, no.
neighborhood?
The streets outside. When it gets that busy, we get not so busy because nobody can see the door. There's so many people outside. No, really. People can't see the entrance. So we've learned that
Yeah,
busy Sundays in Asakusa are never busy for us. You know?
yeah, because most of the Japanese people out.
Yeah. So. It's our usual people are here, but it's not busy for us. Now, once we're downstairs in the shop, that's going to change. I think.
Yeah. Ohayou gozaimasu. It's not kawaii-san.
Oh, hello, Rei-chan. Good. That's kawaii-san.
There's
How
kawaii.
you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Come and say hello to the stream here.
You have to. No, I'm just kidding.
Poke your nose in and say hello.
Hello.
This is Ray in English or Rei in Japanese. Close enough. Ready for a busy day of parties today?
Yes.
How many
And,
are there today?
we're booked pretty much all the way through,
Four,
and it's
14.
Kawai-san's here to show.
Yes.
So Doi-san's here to do the shop. Kawai-san and Rei-chan are going to be doing the parties, and I'm going to head downstairs.
Oh.
Okay.
Morning, sir.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Did you guys work together before? I can't remember.
一回やりました。
2回書いてた。はい。
元気ですか？
え
元気ですか？喫茶でストリーム見た？
上がってたんで今日ちょっと見なくて。
いや、かわいそうな話しなかったよ。大丈夫。今日も天気すごい綺麗。
あ、綺麗です。はい。
春の浅草。We're between two now, the cherry blossoms in Ueno Park, and the Sumida River has like $10,000 in a row on both sides of the bank. So they're both heavy cherry things, and we're right bang between the two of them. So
And they're pretty much in full bloom now, or close to it.
close to, I think. I don't know. I haven't been out there, but apparently it's really, really early this year, like 10
Yeah.
days before the typical year.
Yeah. Which is funny because I thought it was a cold
Yeah,
spring
yeah.
or long winter. I don't know the right way to describe it. It's been cold. But today and yesterday, the day before, beautiful, beautiful. So there are a couple especially interesting clips from Twitch that Broski's pulled out into their own separate YouTube videos, and maybe those could be cut together into a highlights video for you. If you see what he's done, I don't know. Could save you a little bit of clipping time, but who knows?
I'm not sure about the video quality. Those clips were all low res, right? That they were putting up. And, the ones I've been storing here at this end are the
720p? Is that?
no, it's whatever Twitch sends me. I forget what it is. I'm not storing video at this end. It's just too massive. But I download from Twitch the maximum resolution that they're saving. So.
Yeah, apparently the stream currently, someone says, is 720p at 2500 kilohertz per second.
Cool. Is that what Twitch, when you go to Twitch's VOD page, the stored versions of the stream, is that what they're feeding or not? I don't know.
Sure. Cool. That's it. Others said yes, they store at source quality. So
Okay.
cool. It's good to know.
So how are we doing for time, sir? It's pretty much time to
4
move on and
more minutes.
get
Yeah,
ready to
getting-
our day's work.
Getting close. 9:26.
So for you, it's a Monday. There's a box full of orders from over the weekend. Are they waiting for you?
But first, find out about that rental.
Is Ome in today? So do we need to send orders over to them today?
I
Or?
think tomorrow is their first day back.
Okay, all right. Tsushima-san's there printing today, so she asked us to send some paper yesterday. So this is a shipment I sent last night.
Oh.
Told me, so. But whether or not there's order fulfillment going on, I don't know.
Knight Reynolds, I think is how you pronounce that, asks, I remember you mentioning that the Hangipo blades are not as high quality as they used to be. What makes a good blade?
Not sure what to say, without a long speech. There are two types of steel, eh? There's a hard steel on the back, which I think is a higher carbon steel. Sharpens really nicely, but it's very brittle, breaks easily. And it's laminated, pounded together with a softer steel, lower carbon, which takes the force. This thing doesn't break.
Yeah.
And what we would really like is complete consistency. As I use this thing and sharpen it, I go down and down and down and down and down over the full length of it, pulling it out bit by bit over the period of a few weeks.
Right.
And in the newer blades, we're finding that they're not so consistent. I'm sharpening here and it's really nice. Then as it gets shorter, maybe this zone is not so good. Then up here it becomes okay again. And I guess it's when the guy has been, actually pounding the blade on the anvil. And if you maybe miss a spot or pound too much in some spot or whatever, I don't know. I know nothing about how the structural metallurgy works. But in general now these days, they're more inconsistent. It'll be nice, bad, mediocre, nice, whatever. But in the old days, of course, they were just consistently good all the way down. These are not something I'm complaining about. For me, the wood quality is bitterly difficult these days. The knife, they're not so bad because, as we mentioned before, making carving knives and blades is not just for woodblock printmaking. Carpenters of every face need good blades, need good knives. So it's not just woodblock printmakers. So the point being, there's lots of hardware people. There are lots of people still making knives of all different types because it's not just for woodblock printmakers. And Japanese knives now, they're becoming globally famous. Culinary stuff. People are buying kitchen knives, all over the world.
Yeah.
So knife making and blade making is not one of these disappearing crafts and, oh my God, what are we going to do because we can't get this anymore.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is, So knives are not a problem for us. The blade I'm using right now, if I complain at some point it's not as good as it used to be, maybe I did so. But it's not a major problem for us. Modern knives are fine.
They may not be as consistent as they once were, but they do the job.
Maybe. And I would imagine perhaps if you're buying a more of a commercial product, the kind of knife that's made in a factory and stuff, they maybe is more consistent because it's robotic stuff,
Right.
Contemporary manufacturing processes, as we know from things like our iPhone and stuff, can be very, very rigorous,
Yeah.
It's when you get something from a little local corner workshop that it's not as well made as it used to be, So knives for me are not a problem. This knife is way better than the guy who's using it right now. If you see what I mean, I think we better wrap it up, Cameron-san. I've got to get busy with the rest of my work today.
Okay.
Tomorrow, there will be no stream tomorrow because we're going to be doing some sort of construction downstairs.
Yeah.
Hopefully on that scaffold, if not, something else, whatever. And I don't know what to say, pictures in his slideshows. You and I have really been deficient about getting pictures ready. So can we promise these
Get some
people
more
we'll
pictures
get something ready
today,
for them?
Especially, you said there's lots of good stuff going
Yeah,
on. So.
yeah.
Okay.
So the next stream will be Wednesday morning, Japan time.
Okay. And Dead Steve has one more question before we wrap up. Another time, could we do a test stream at a higher bit rate or a higher resolution? Because I think this camera goes up to 1080p. And
That's what I'm broadcasting HD. I've set this at max.
Huh. Okay. Maybe there's some settings to fiddle with because they're only seeing it at 720.
Only 720. Well, but
Yeah.
okay,
Want to
that's
see what the computer can push out. They're wondering if now with an Ethernet cable connection, can they get even higher? They're just you said a test
okay,
stream, so
yeah, all right.
Let's see what it's like. But
Given the problems we've had,
yeah, who knows?
yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see what OBS can do. I'm not sure. The OBS settings I've just kept it basically at the moment at the standard built-in settings.
Okay.
Because we'll see. Okay.
We'll
all right.
poke around, see what we can do. But thank you, and we will see you Wednesday, Tokyo.
I'll be here Wednesday. Yes, 2
Okay.
days from now. Yes. Thanks so much, guys.
Good.
Okay. See you
Have
next
a
time.
good one. Goodbye. One camera. Hot mic. And
We're still on the mic. Okay.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.